Anyway, they finally did it. The Boston Bruins finally celebrated their centennial on Sunday. More like it was the 15th time they've done it, but this was the actual 100th anniversary of their first ever game against the Montreal Maroons back in December of 1924. So they take on the Habs yesterday, and it's a really neat ceremony. I got some FOMO. There's a whole fan fest going on in Boston. They had all the legends out there. They had the Stanley Cup there. Just a really cool. Like, I'm obviously a sucker for sports history and the Bruins in particular. So like I was really tuned into that. Pretty dumb to do it right in the middle of an NFL Sunday afternoon. Like, whose idea was that? I get it. It's December 1st. That's the 100th anniversary. You could also play at 7 p.m. No one's stopping you from doing that. Instead, they did it at 3 o'clock Eastern time in just the middle of an NFL game day, and more importantly, a Patriots game, like the fourth quarter of a Patriots game, a one-possession game. And here are the Bruins with, Johnny Busick's walking out there trying to do this whole big ceremony, which was great. All the greats were there except for Chara, which seemed odd. I think Chara still lives in Boston, so that was a little weird. Jason Allison was there. That was interesting. No Jumbo Joe, still no Joe Thornton, who heard those rumors, man. I don't think he likes the Bruins. Still think he's bitter with the Bruins, which is interesting. I mean, here we are 20 years later, had a Hall of Fame career in San Jose, got his number retired there. I don't know why he's so bitter about the Bruins, but I don't know. Anyway, so they have this whole ceremony. They bring him out on the ice, and then they bring out some youth hockey players, Zach. It was really emotional. Kids from all around communities around New England. And those Bruins greats, Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito, Cam Neely, Ray Bourque, they pass the puck to the next generation. Tears rolling down all our faces. So we usher in the second century of Bruins hockey. And they're 1-0, baby. 1-0 in the second century of Boston Bruins hockey. I was worried about this game in terms of, like, we're going to have this great big ceremony. The Bruins have a tendency to not play well after these kinds of ceremonies. It makes me think back to the first Winter Classic where they did win, but they were down most of the game. That was at Fenway. The banner raising night against the Flyers, they lost that game. It was such an emotional ceremony beforehand. The second Winter Classic they played in, they got crushed by Montreal. So these things tend to trip up the Bruins a little bit. And they're obviously not a great team this year. And I'm thinking, boy, this is going to suck to have this kind of ceremony and that you're going to lose like 3-1 to Montreal on this night. They didn't do it, man. They exploded. 3 goals in the first period, 3 goals in like a 90-second span. Charlie McAvoy played his best game of the season, hands down, and maybe the best he's played in the last 2 seasons. He scored twice. Charlie Coyle scored twice, which felt great for me as a South Shore kid to see another South Shore guy out there on the centennial day of the Boston Bruins, a big-time game, big-time atmosphere and moment. He goes out there and has an awesome game. That was representing for the South Shore. And not the South Shore that usually produces the NHL talent. Not Hingham, not Scituate, not Duxbury, Weymouth, baby. Yes, I am talking white trash South Shore town, like the same one I grew up in, just a little bit bigger. I love that. Love that for us, for the South Shore, and of course, for the Bruins as well. Sharp-looking uniforms they were wearing yesterday. In fact, they have opened it up to not just 3 players. You can even buy a blank version. So I have decided, Zach, after really talking this through the last couple of weeks, and we had it on the show when the uniforms dropped, I'm going to buy one. It's either going to be a blank one or it's going to be a Charlie Coyle one. I'm leaning towards Charlie Coyle just as a South Shore represent. But they look sharp. Don't take my word for it. Drake May was wearing it going into the game. Clearly, they sent some to the Patriots because Drake May was wearing it going into the game. So was Dietrich Wise and a couple of other guys. And when you get gifted this from the Bruins and you play for a Boston team, even if you're not in the game, why not continue to rock it? That's what Derek White said. Can we get this picture? Oh yeah. I'm sorry. That's cold as hell to just be playing for the world champion Boston Celtics. You're not playing in this game, and you're like, you know what? The Bruins sent me a jersey. It looks cool as shit. I'm gonna wear it. And so the whole game, Derek White is wearing this David Pastrnak Bruins Centennial jersey. And I think it's awesome that the Boston teams will support each other like that. Like actually, like Derek White loves playing in Boston, man. He's done the Sam Adams commercials. He's going to have his own IPA. He did the duck boat thing. And now he's wearing a Bruins jersey on the sideline. That look good, Zach? Looks pretty good. He's nodding. You can't tell, but he's nodding. It looks slick. There he goes again. Bobblehead Zach. Nodding along to whatever we're saying here on the Cam Show. Zach, what is your favorite hockey jersey?
Honestly, probably the purple and green Ducks
Mighty
jerseys.
Ducks one. That's a fine one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it makes me think of not to relate it back to the '93 Maine Black
But
Bears
you're gonna
team,
do it.
But I'm going to
do it.
It reminds me of the Paul Kariya, Tim Usolani teams.
Oh yeah.
And so like I don't know, I really loved those jerseys as a kid and even now as an adult. So yeah, I hate the black and orange.
Dude, I watched a good YouTube video a couple days ago about the Islanders rebrand in the 90s.
Oh, where it looks like the Gordon's Fisherman?
Exactly the one. And it like really highlighted how much hockey fashion was taking off because like the rappers were starting to wear the jersey. Like Snoop Dogg, famously the Gin and Juice video, he's wearing a Penguins jersey. And so it like really started to take off, and Starter, which we talked about earlier in the show, started to have a lot more like sideline gear and stuff popping off. And so all of these teams, like literally every team went through some sort of rebrand, whether it was an alternate or a full new set. And like, it looked cool as hell. The Mighty Ducks thing, like the Islanders one, it was, but they tried something. Gordon's Fisherman, and you remember the back was supposed to be like sea waves. So like the numbers were kind of offset. The Blues used to have that. Remember when they had like what do you call that? Like diagonal lines on it.
Yeah.
And so like Gretzky, that jersey for the Blues, because the diagonal lines going like that, it's like a regular size 9 and then like a shortened size 9 next to it. Like that was cool. You know, it kind of looks weird now, but it's like they tried something,
That's
man.
true.
They tried something. And yeah, the Islanders thing did not work out, but Mighty Ducks was great. The Sharks were coming in at that time. And people loved the teal and the silver. That was huge. So there was some good stuff there.
You know what?
The Avalanche, I always liked the Avalanche logo and uniform.
You know, kind of on the opposite, but who never had good jerseys, and granted,
ooh, don't tell me. Never had good jerseys.
Yeah.
The Washington Capitals.
No, there were some Capitals ones. Oddly
Their current
enough,
ones suck. I hate those.
But remember, like the Eagle that they had, like in like 06 and 07.
Yes, they have an alternate like that again.
Yeah, with a little bit of teal in there. That wasn't bad.
Who had the worst uniforms?
They're not
still like. Or was it just like, hey, they went to these uniforms in the 90s. They really sucked.
No, they always had them. I never thought they had good jerseys in the existence of their franchise, but they're not around anymore. They moved, or they're in a different place now.
You didn't like the Coyotes jerseys?
No, it's not the Coyotes.
Oh, good.
It's another team.
The Kachina was awesome.
Out east.
Out east.
They thrashed about.
Oh, yeah, they came in 2000.
They
never quite got
never had good looking.
They never got it right. You're right. They never got it right. At one point, I think they had Atlanta down the sleeve. Much like Atlanta hockey in general, they never got it right. Yeah, that's a good one. That never hit. Yeah. And the Jets are okay. They moved to Winnipeg, became the new Jets.
The Whalers has been one I've always liked though.
It's a good logo.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really love the green uniforms as much as everyone else did. I liked their blue and green that they wore towards the end of their time in Hartford in the early 90s. Well, but that is a classic logo.
I think it's the Rockies minor league. That's the Yard Goats that's in Hartford now. Yes. Uses the same color scheme.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, you're right. AA baseball. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've called a game at that ballpark.
Nice.
Yeah, It's a fine ballpark. It's whatever. It's kind of sucks to get there from the Cape, which is what I was doing it for. Anyway, that's now you've had it. Zach's favorite hockey uniform has been revealed. Zach has revealed himself to the world. Hey, thanks for stopping by. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter here for some more outrageous Boston sports takes coming to you every weekday at noon Eastern time. And then after that, wherever you get your podcasts.
We are Rogue Media Sports.